So, if we talk about a daydream, does that break the rules in this little enterprise? I'm not quite sure, but it was a dream. Hello, I am SallyJoMCooper. These are my conversations with Herb. Herb is a piece of my mind, just not all of it. All of the conversations with Herb are about my dreams. This is the first one that is about a daydream. I daydream from time to time. I think that's what artists are supposed to do. And I end up with these little stories, and often these little stories end up becoming big features in my work, one way or another. But they're like the prequel. They're like the thing that happens way before I get a painting done. I haven't worked out how this one could be a singular image, or even 2 or 3 images. But it's a daydream, and it's sitting in my head. So, and I put it on the internet. So, I had a daydream. There was this little frumpy old man, and he was a very ordinary person. He lived a normal life, though I would say he had more zeal than some. He did the things he was doing with intent, whether they were benign and being a fry cook when he was young, or working blue-collar work, or studying. He did them all with an appreciation somehow. And he grew up, and he developed this concern. He developed a concern about the world, and so he began studying. And he studied history and stories and places and things, and he made a discovery that wasn't a secret. It was available to anyone who would have found it. He discovered the light of ages. And it was a really special little light that it wouldn't blow out, it wouldn't change, and the more you used it, the hotter it got, and the brighter it got. So he made a little candlestick to carry it on, like an old miner's candle. And he would carry it in his pocket, and if he started using it, he would put it on the little candlestick so it wouldn't burn him. And so he was a little old man who carried around the light of ages in his pocket. And one day he was out walking, just doing his usual thing, and there was a large storm came up, and it was the kind of storm where the clouds hang heavy and dark, and they roll, and he's walking by a wood line, and he hears a fluttering, like something's out there. Something's struggling in this woods. So in spite of the storm, he says, you know what, I have my little light. I'll be fine. I'll go in after this struggling, this fluttering. And he finds the entrance, and he starts walking down the path, and the path is overgrown and mangled and just not well taken care of. But he persists, and he hikes up his slacks, and he decides it's okay to get his little shoes muddy, and he buttons up his sweater, and he just continues. He continues into this woods, because the further in he goes, the louder this fluttering gets, so he knows it's there. He knows it's out there in the darkness that everyone has failed to walk through with light, that he must go, and so he goes. And the further he goes in, the more fluttering he hears, and he becomes convinced it's not one thing, but many. And then maybe it's many, many things, and he keeps going, and there's this fluttering, this struggling sound all around him. And he gets to the heart of the woods, and in the heart of the woods there's kind of a clearing, and he breaks in, and by this time the evening's gone and it's night, and you can see the moon kind of coming through holes in the clouds once in a while, and so it's brighter in this clearing, but not that bright, just kind of bright enough to see your own feet, and but you can't see what else is going on. So he's got the light of ages out, and he is using it, and so it's gotten really hot. It's burning, so it's up on its little candlestick, and it's burning, and then he's hearing this fluttering in every direction around this circle in the woods. He's hearing this fluttering, but I can't make out like which way should go, which way is more important. And then suddenly a moth busts out of the canopy, and it's a pretty big moth, but it's a moth. It's regular, and it flies right into that light, and it just goes up in flames. And then in the ashes of that moth, there's a man. He says, "Thank you. I was trapped. I was trapped without my words. And you've given me my words, and now I am a man again." And then there is a stirring of 100,000 moths. And they all fly towards that light of ages, and the more you use it, the hotter it gets, and it burns them all up.